everyone! Welcome back to my YouTube channel, One Day, One Fact. How are you today, guys? I hope you guys in a great and good condition. So, if you are wondering what are we going to talk about today, let me tell you. We are going to talk about how to elaborate Indonesian culture with the help of social media. Alright everyone, before we start it over, let me ask you something. How many of us prefer foreign culture rather than our own culture? Too many, right? There are lots of young generations that neglect our culture and prefer global or Western culture. While on the other hand, many foreign people learning Indonesian culture by dancing Indonesian dance or singing traditional Indonesian songs and etc. Guys, do you know what is the true meaning of culture? Culture is a way of life that passed down from one generation to other generation through word of mouth. As we know that Indonesia is a very rich country who are rich in natural resources and rich in culture. We can find many Indonesian cultures such as folklore, folk games, historical building, and any other kind of that. So, as a young generation, it is very important for us to keep our culture and not losing it by elaborating Indonesian culture with the help of social media. So that technology can be the bridge that connects us to our heritage in a way that is very creative, very fun, and inspiring. Everyone, I want to ask you, can you name the culture that you knew throughout your life? Can you name it? Well, culture is not something that stays still. It is very dynamic because each generation gives a new meaning, new color, and new ways to express it. That's what makes culture is very unique and then creative and then timeless. Everyone, well, in our cases, there are lots of difference. There are lots of culture in Indonesia that we shall know. Indonesian culture such as batik, wayang, angklung, or even story like Malin Kundang, Timun Emas, and any other kind of that. All of that sometimes can be our biggest challenge. How come? As what I told you before, that many young generation prefer foreign culture instead of our culture, because sometimes Indonesian culture is considered as old-fashioned. But don't get me wrong. The lack of accessibility and the lack of creative promotion can be the part of the problem, so that makes global culture easier to float in our mind. Well, don't worry everyone, let's find a way to solve all of that problem. What a way that we need to know? Okay everyone, so Indonesia is a very rich country that rich in culture and anything. We can use a social media and elaborate it with our Indonesian culture. Do you use TikTok? Or do you use Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram? From that platform, what platform do you use the most? Whatever is that, I will talk about how to elaborate Indonesian culture using Instagram. Instagram is a very great platform that we should use. Instagram is a free, powerful platform to learn, share, and to post our culture. Do you ever eat sate? Do you ever eat rendang? Or do you ever eat tahu petis? Well, instead of only eating it, why don't you take a picture of it and then post it on Instagram so that people will know that we also have a heritage foods? Second, we can tell the story about Malin Kundang or Timun Emas, or we can play a game like Gobak Sodor. And then what other game ya? Jongklak. We can make a short videos about it, and then we can share and post it on Instagram. And then the last one, do you ever visit Indonesia places? Indonesian historical building, do you ever visit them? Instead of only walking in that place, why don't you make a virtual tours about that place? And then you can share it on Instagram and post it with a simple explanation histories. So as a young generation, we can use Instagram to elaborate our culture. And then everyone, using Instagram doesn't mean that we abandon our culture, but using Instagram wisely to make sure that we have a culture continuity. So we can, as a young generation, we can use technology and using Instagram, be modern but not forgetting our culture. Alright everyone, as what I told before that we have a lot of challenges, but we can find the way to solve all of that problem. Ladies and gentlemen, culture is not just about the past. But culture, it is how we shape our identity and pride for the future. We can support our culture by attend many cultural events and then share at least one post about our culture on Instagram. Well, if it's not us who love Indonesia, then who else? Instagram is a really great platform that we can use to share our culture. Instagram is not only for trends, but can be a timeless tradition. And culture is not only our history, but it is a story that waits to be retold by us. Alright everyone, I think that's all for today. See you in the next video. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay study. Last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Goodbye.